That's right. Rocking it out. Keeping it going. Keeping it going. All right, enough of that. I'm done with that.
Yeah, that's pretty bullshit.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? Happy Wednesday, new comic book day here at Hyper RPG.
I'm pumped.
You pumped?
I'm pumped, man. Got some good books in this today.
Yeah,
today.
Honestly, I read a ton, and I can update people on all of the stuff I read last week that I said, I haven't read it yet. I'll read it, and then I'll update you. And I did.
Nice,
I checked them out.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Is this the Titanic theme? What is
no,
this?
I don't know. I just hit play on video game soundtracks, and then...
Also, you're not confused. I am wearing the exact same T-shirt that I wore last week. Apparently, Wednesdays, this is the Hyper Day T-shirt. I don't know.
Holy crap, they're saying the audio is really off-sync.
What the farts?
That means there's
on what platform? On both?
If it's on all of them, let me know. Is it out of sync on YouTube and Twitch? If it is, it's a problem with Restream. We're using a new service to output to all of them.
God, I hope not. That would be tragic and unfortunate.
Twitch is off. Oh, man. And there's a green line again? How? How?
Welcome to our life.
I don't even know.
Hey, you know what? We do what we can with what we got, and today we don't have much.
So Twitch is off, but yet YouTube isn't. I mean, that being said, Twitch, like, chat is, like, going much faster.
Yeah.
YouTube's really slow. We got to teach. I feel like we have to train YouTube to interact. There's no green line, LOL. But yeah, it says it's off on YouTube as well. Shit. Man, I wish there was a way we could test this before going live, but there's really not.
I don't know about Twitch, but on YouTube you can just set the live stream to unlisted.
Private. Yeah. YouTube is off too. Okay. Well, the only thing I can really do is go offline and go back online. That is my only option to see if that works. It has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the server that we're outputting to.
Go for it.
It'll mess up the Facebook stream. Because Facebook, I have to like schedule a stream. I really hate going live on Facebook. It is such a pain in the ass.
Currently, I will agree with Zach, but also currently, because YouTube is redoing their entire interface, going live on YouTube is also a huge pain in the ass. Like, they've changed the entire interface. They're making people go into this new creator studio. I hate it. Just leave it the way it was. It was totally fine.
Every time I click on go to old studio, and they're like, please give us a quick survey on why. And I'm like, this sucks. I don't like it.
It's so irritating. Even just to upload video. Like, the whole process has become so annoying that, like...
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to go offline and back up, I guess. I don't know if that will fix it.
We'll try, y'all. We'll try.
I have no way of knowing if that will fix it, so I'm going to go off. We'll see you momentarily. It might take us 2 minutes to reset everything. Apologies. It worked last week. It should have worked this week.
Oh, boy.
I figure if we just don't talk, there's no way they know it's not in sync, right? If we just don't talk?
Just like just mouth and you'll be fine.
Oh, okay. So we're testing to see if the audio is now in fact synced up.
You let us know.
Audio sync is good now.
Yay!
That's all it did.
Son of a bitch!
Literally just restarting it fixed it. I hate technology sometimes.
If this wasn't
throw it out the window.
Yeah! Flip the desk.
Turn it off and back on. Did it? It's not. Just done. We're done. Screw it. All right, welcome everyone to Comics and Coffee. It is Wednesday, new comic book day here at Hyper RPG. Thank you all so much for joining us.
Oh, Tech, you bastard.
And the thing is, this isn't our tech. It's not even ours.
Yeah.
It's going through another server.
Yep.
So it's on that server.
It's the only way we can get it to stream on 3 different platforms at once.
Yep. So that server decided to unsync our audio on its way out to you all. On our end, it's good. So just by restarting it, it works. I love it. It's so cool.
It hurts so good.
It's so cool. I love how much I pay for it. Whew. It's really expensive. Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday, New Comic Book Day. I read some amazing stuff this week. I caught up on stuff I said I was going to read last week. Did you read any comic books at the cabin this weekend?
I did not. It was a pretty short trip, and we got there, we took some photos, and then we watched Spider-Verse, and we went to bed. And next morning, it was kind of just like some photos, and then we hung out, and then we left. So no, I didn't get to. I should have, though. Why didn't I?
I don't know.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is that how you caught up? You read them all at the cabin?
Dude. Just so you know, I don't go to bed without reading comic books.
I don't have an iPad. I apparently need one.
Oh, see, this is how I consume.
gigantic.
It is. It's the Pro. I use it for drawing. This and reading comics. I'm not gonna lie.
This is Malika's.
I say I'd use it to draw. I draw on it maybe 1 hour every 6 months, and I read comic books about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours a day on it. So it is my comic book reader. It's the most expensive comic reader. It's meant to be for drawing, but it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. I think reading comic books on this is an absolute pleasure.
Look,
it's so smooth.
Yeah,
it's
like
great.
butter.
I can zoom in. I can tap. It's beautiful.
That's the
so great.
one device that I would like. Just being in bed, I would be okay with watching stuff on it because it's big.
I don't like watching stuff.
If I've seen it before,
I just
I'm
like
okay
reading
with
comic books. I like reading comic books on it. That's how I like to do it. But I take this thing with me everywhere. So when I'm traveling, we stayed in a cabin this weekend. We took a whole bunch of photos. It was
fun.
It was just us two. Nobody
Together.
else. It was just us two.
Clothing was optional.
I left my wife. He left his girlfriend at home. We're like, you all can hang out by yourselves. We're going to a cabin. That's not all true. That's how I remember it.
I mean, that's how I remember it.
That's how I remember it.
I also remember there not being much clothing involved, but...
Coffee. So,
Kaiju, you heard none of that.
You heard nothing. Don't tell your mother. So, I caught up on a bunch of comic books at the cabin, and it was great because when I woke up Monday morning, it was snowing out. You all left on Sunday. You missed the snow. I woke up, it was snowing. And there was a brief moment of me thinking, wow. And then I was immediately reminded I drove up there in my Jeep, and I was going to have to, and I don't have a top on that Jeep. And it was like, wow, I'm going to freeze my balls off on the way home.
How was that drive home?
I did. Ooh. It was miserable. It was intense. Honestly, though, I will say the drive back wasn't as bad as the drive up.
Yeah.
Because on the drive up, when I left LA on Friday, it was 67 degrees. When I got there, it was 37 degrees. And there was a point when I got at the bottom of the grapevine and I start working my way up where it was literally dropping a degree every mile.
Yeah.
And it was like on that drive, it was like every mile, I'm like, okay, oh shit.
Oh, there's 10 degrees, there's 20.
Right. I eventually pulled over and I put like 2 more T-shirts on and all my coats were in Malika's car because she was bringing up the majority of the clothes.
Yeah.
And I just toughed it out and it was absolutely freezing. It was so cold. And at least on the drive back, I felt like I knew it's like, all right, as I go down this mountain, as I go down the hill, it's just going to keep getting warmer and warmer. And it got to the point where I was like sweating in my coat and my hat. And I was like, love it, keep it. After driving through that, it was miserable.
Yeah, we noticed it too on our way up. But not only did we notice on the way up, when Lucas took us to one of the mountains where there was snow, as we just climbed the elevation, you just feel 3 degrees, 3 degrees, 3 degrees, 3. And by the time you got to like 15 degrees cooler, you're like, I feel this.
Yes.
But it was so nice to go up and see snow in Southern California. Only about, 80 minutes away.
It's a 77-mile drive from right here.
Yeah, it's so close to here. And there was snow. And it was snowing.
It's awesome.
And we had a little bit of rain. It's raining now. We've been getting a lot of weird weather the last few weeks. Actually this whole year. But
needed. We've lived through so many wildfires the last couple of years. We needed all this.
I know. I'm all about it. I'm all about that snow. I was so excited when Lucas was like, let's go up to the snow. I was like, yes.
Yeah. It was really cool. Yeah, it was really neat. We went up there to do a photo shoot for Hyper RPG and hang out as a crew. Take some pictures, watch some movies, play some board games, and hang out in the snow and in the woods and all good stuff. It's needed. You got to get out of LA every once in a while. I saw somebody in the chat said something about that they got the Pro for drawing too, but the speakers on it are amazing. I wouldn't even know. And somebody else said that there's nothing better than holding an actual comic.
I don't disagree.
I disagree.
I mean,
I have boxes upon boxes of comic books up there. You know what's frustrating?
That they're just up there?
They're up there. No, it's if I want to like read a comic book when I'm going to bed, I got to keep a light on and keep my significant other up. It's really hard to handle when you're like lying in bed. These are first world problems. I'm laying in bed and it's like, this is difficult. I'm going to have to keep a light on. And there's no good way to store them. And go through all those boxes when I get like an inkling of an urge to be like, ooh, I want to go back and read the first issue of this. I'm going to have to get up there, go through all my boxes. It's cool. I do enjoy comic books. I love the feeling of the page. But now that I've changed my reading habits to mainly reading in bed, I don't think there's anything better than having an iPad because it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I also enjoy, everyone knows this because I talk about physical media all the time for movies. But when it comes to comic books, I love being able to turn the page and hold the book. But at the same time, it's kind of the same deal, the storage of comics. That's why I don't read single issues, because to me, collecting single issues every single month or every single week, depending on what you're buying, it's a lot.
I ended up getting so much shit up there.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. Yeah, so I usually, if I do buy a physical comic, it's usually a trade paperback or, you know, it's a one-off graphic novel or whatever the case may be.
buy any physical copies I buy are going to be special.
Yeah.
It's going to be like a number one's coming out, a variant cover that I really want. Issue to issue, I say all this. I was subscribed to Spider-Man for 12 years. I don't know how many of you in the chat room had comic book subscriptions. You know when you used to buy Marvel comic books or DC comic books, and in the back there would be a thing that like, fill out this form, mail it in to us, and we'll mail you back comic books. That was the only way I could get comic books. I couldn't go pick them up at a store because there wasn't any. And I'd go visit my grandma every once in a while, and there's a Walmart out there, and I'd pick up a couple, and they always sold like the Marvel 2-packs. They were always out of order. It'd be like X-Men random this and X-Factor random that. Always something to do with the Legacy Saga. And I'd pick them both up, and then I was like, wait, I can just fill out this form.
Yeah.
So I saved up my money.
Time.
And I filled it out, and then I ended up like being subscribed to Spider-Man in mail form for like 12 years.
Wow.
And they were always really far behind. I didn't realize that until I moved to a big city and got to go to comic book shop every week. I'm like,
it's
holy
there.
shit, the books I'm getting are like a month and a half behind. They're taking so long. Most of them came in the mail damaged too.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
They would come bent, pages messed up.
I get pissed when anything that's like physical media comes in. Like if a Blu-ray comes in with a cracked case, or like one time I got something that had like a puncture hole through it. Oh, it's the most irritating thing. I can't imagine a comic book that's literally nothing but paper.
They wouldn't do official postal service kind of thing. It would be in a little bag that had not a little piece of cardboard in the back that kind of gave you the option to subscribe to more, but those weren't even as strong as the boards that you get at the store, like these.
Yeah, like actual boards.
It wasn't as strong as these boards. It was, so it's basically being shipped to you like this. Like this.
Yeah.
So, of course, the post office is going to be like, fold it up, jam it in, your mailbox. Oh, it used to drive me crazy. But that's how I used to get all of my comic books. It was the only way I could get them. Yeah, I picked those up.
Did you buy up like every single? Oh, these are the issues.
Those are the issues.
Gotcha. I thought these were all the alternate covers. I'm like,
no,
oh my God.
Here,
do you need 6 of the same?
I was at a comic book store and I picked up all 5 of these Wolverine Snicked, mainly because I'd never heard of it. It was my birthday. Yeah, it was my birthday. And I was like, I want this for my birthday, because I'd never heard of it, and I saw it was a Japanese. Like a Japanese Wolverine comic, and I was like, okay.
I heard of it, but I've not read it.
Pick it up. Why not?
He's good? You read?
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, okay.
That's why
you just picked it up?
Yeah, I just picked it up. And it's like, I'll check it out. I love going through a comic book store and just kind of looking through the rack.
Discovering stuff.
Like, oh, shit, didn't know about this.
Yeah. That's cool. They're cool covers.
Yeah, they're pretty dope. I like the covers a lot. And there was just a bunch of free comic book day stuff over there. And
free comic books are great because they give you a little flavor.
Yeah, give you a little flavor.
A little flavor of what exists and what's out there. It's a lot of good stuff.
So for all the people that might be tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, welcome, all of you. You are all thumpers in our eyes. You are all wonderful individuals, and we're here to talk about comic books today and other nerdy stuff, and we might go off on tangents. We'll probably read a comic book live for you at the end of the show. We noticed something really interesting last week, too, that I wanted to talk to you all about, because I'm always fascinated by this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Being a producer and working on all the different platforms and everything like that, the YouTube discussion was really high when we were talking about the books we bought, and YouTube and Twitch discussion were about equal. And then when we started reading the comic book, we only had like one message in the YouTube chat for an entire 45 minutes, and Twitch chat just kept going at the same speed and communicating. And I want to figure out a way to make you guys in the YouTube chat feel as comfortable to, like, chill with each other and be a part of the Thumper fam and talk to each other like our Twitch audience does. Like, you're all part of the same family. You all love the same things. You're here because you like what we do. So keep that conversation rocking and talk about what you see, talk about what you're excited about, whether or not you're digging the book, and whether or not you're going to pick it up.
Yeah, and that's very true. You know, it seems like the Twitch audience is very much, they can kind of like be their own little group and talk about stuff. And if we're kind of just casually talking about things, they'll pick something up that we'll talk about, and they'll go into
for better or worse. They have their own little mind, and they go off on their own little things.
But yeah, it'd be cool to see that in the YouTube chat. I've seen it happen on Hyper Heroes on the actual episodes a lot more.
You all are Thumper fam too.
Yeah, you damn right you are.
Keep it going.
But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to be able to see the two different chat rooms and see what the different chat rooms are talking about at what points throughout, the live stream.
It is true. We nerd out on it.
We do.
Speaking of nerding out, you and I talked about starting a new show soon.
We did. Are you gonna drop this right now?
We could.
Okay.
Why not?
Fun. Go for it.
What are you looking at me like that?
I didn't know we were going to talk about this right now.
Why are you Malika-ing me right now?
Zach.
Oh, really? We're going to talk about that right now? I guess we're not. Are we not?
I mean, you can't tease them like that. Come on.
Okay.
Go.
So Adam and I are going to be starting a new show. We don't have an official title for it yet. Maybe we could ask them to help us.
We could
come up with one.
We could.
Because we're here now just chilling with you all. We're talking about comic books. We're hanging out. We're having some coffee.
I already finished it.
You did?
Ah, man. I sucked coffee down real good.
You're going to feel that.
I know.
So we're going to be doing a show, shooting it once a week, hopefully putting it out once a week, where we react to favorite scenes of ours from movies. We'll rotate off and on where you pick a scene, I pick a scene, and then we'll talk about how that scene was made, and we'll geek out on it. And we'll look for behind-the-scenes materials to talk about how it was done, and we're just going to nerd out on movies and how they're made.
We do this. We've now gone to the habit of watching at least 2 to 3 movies a week here in the living room. We do this constantly, so we thought, like, this would just be a good idea for us to just do, because we're going to do it on Tuesday mornings. We're going to shoot on Tuesday mornings. And we figured if we're already doing this, we might as well just put it on camera and get the audience involved to talk about the filmmaking process, how certain things are done, because we see it all the time. I see it all the time, on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, of people being very intrigued on how certain things are made and the mystery of it. And it's not so much to take away the magic, but it's just to, like, share our knowledge, our expertise, but also, like, the things that we're passionate about. And, like, we love that sort of stuff of, like, the camera techniques and how they choose to create some sequences.
We geek out on this stuff. We really do.
So hard.
Like, sometimes one of my favorite things sometimes you just have, like, a pause and you be like, "Hey Zach, digital or film?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm in it now." I don't know. Figure it out. "Hey Zach, can you name this movie?" And it's just a pause frame. And I'm like, shit. Oh no, don't put me on the spot like this.
That was the funny thing. We did that with Man of Steel. Emily and I were watching it because she hadn't seen it in a while, and it was a pause frame, and you could not tell that it was a Superman movie.
No,
it was like
it was a Pacific Northwest scene.
Yeah, it was just like a bus in the
stop.
foreground, just truck stop. Yeah, and I was like, "Zach, what movie is this?" He's like, well, it looks like 35 millimeter by the grain, by the color. I would say it's probably within the realm of Zack Snyder. And I was like, "God damn, this is
getting close. We're getting close."
Yeah.
I didn't get Man of Steel though.
No, but you said Zack Snyder, and I was like, "Damn, that's pretty damn impressive." That's cinematography life.
I know. My past life. My past life.
Someday I will suck Zach back into it.
I mean, I love that we get to watch movies a lot now. I love watching movies.
I know.
At heart, I feel like what Hyper RPG is all about is facilitating storytelling.
Yeah.
And in all ways, shapes, and form, I love storytelling. I can geek out about paintings, about music, about comic books, and about movies. They're all forms of storytelling, and they all interest me so much. And I think that, to me, the heart is what Hyper RPG is all about. And you guys sharing your stories about superheroes on Superhero News and Superhero News and stuff like that on the channel. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I agree, and plus it's like I love watching movies so much, and a lot of time in the last house that we lived in, I always watched it kind of by myself, and it was just me sort of just watching. But now it's fun to be able to watch it. It's usually you and me and Malika and Emily, and we're just sitting there talking about the movie and talking about the art, and everyone's kind of contributing some sort of historical context to the filmmaker or the movie, and I love that.
I love it too because especially when all four of us are watching movies, we all have different backgrounds to bring into that conversation. Like
it's so fun.
Emily and Malika too. Emily is a writer. Malika is a visual artist, and a game designer, so she understands certain aspects of the game design element, which is in a lot of things, whether you realize it or not, and what that contributes to a conversation. You get super into aspect ratios and what cameras they were shot on. I get really into lighting and story development and psychology of a scene. Somebody in the chat said, "Set the scene," and people are digging that.
I
in the
like
Twitch chat.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like that. Set the scene.
Someone in the YouTube chat said, "Have you seen?" But seen.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Y'all on the same wavelength. Look at y'all playing in the same playground without you even knowing it.
Yeah.
We also have like a giant box of Criterions that our friend Scott left us, and
there's about 40 of them.
We're gonna go through all of those damn things. Criterion is just so good.
Hours of my life.
I'm not upset about it.
I'm not upset either. Somebody else also said, "I thought this was the new show." It's new to you if you're on YouTube.
That's right.
We've been doing stuff like this on Twitch for a very long time.
Yeah, you've been doing this for like over a year.
Off and on.
Yeah.
Off and on. We've done it in many different ways, too.
Yeah.
I've been talking about comic books on Twitch
forever.
Since I came onto
Twitch. You did a show.
Couple.
Like old school.
I've canceled lots of shows about comic books.
Yeah. This one will hopefully be here to stay. But yeah, I mean, the last iteration that I got to do with you, it was IRL. Mm-hmm. We would basically take the whole rig and go out somewhere, and we'd live stream from like a cafe or a comic book shop, and we would pick up comics and then read them and hang out and stuff and talk about it.
Which is really fun, except that LA has horrible reception, and there's no way to know until we get to a location whether or not our system's going to work. And that became so stressful. It's like, I can't have fun talking about comic books if I'm constantly looking down and checking our signal and having people in the chat room saying stuff like, signal's bad, or putting the Nightbot command for the signal going out, and I'm just like, oh, this is too stressful. I can't do this.
Yeah, this is much easier because we're at home.
We're just chilling.
We're just
in our living room.
That's right.
Watching some cartoons.
I mean,
talking about comic books.
I have nothing to complain about.
I'm also really excited. This is another thing I geek out about. The equipment that we use in our studio. I also got interviewed today about our exact equipment setup, and I get excited about it. Yeah. And one of the pieces of equipment that we're using doesn't have built-in picture-in-picture because it's a cheaper model than their bigger model. And they're like, oh, if you want that, you're going to have to buy the $3,000 version. I was like, I feel like there's got to be a way around this. I feel like there's got to be a way around this. I feel like I think I figured it out. Yeah, baby.
Sneaky little sleuth.
And figured it out by setting up a macro in the program to where I'm getting it to capture the moment where a transition is just about to finish, because there is no picture-in-picture for this piece of hardware, but there is the option to create a transition. And one of those transition effects is to shrink something out until it disappears. So I was able to create a macro that traps it and basically stops it before it disappears. So it's actually a transition that I'm stopping halfway, and coded that into a Stream Deck, into a companion piece of software where I can just sit here and go in and out of fake picture-in-picture. And it worked.
This kind of this exactly what you just explained reminded me of this morning when I was on Instagram trying to explain to people 65mm film, and everyone being like, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, I'll make a video.
Yeah, we'll just.
I feel like we need to do that.
Yeah, it's more work.
I know.
It's more work. It's easier to just talk about it live when we're sitting here and it's like, oh, let's geek out. I know. Oh, we got to make a video and got to edit it and add that to our timeline because so much time.
We actually do get, I'm surprised by this, but we get a lot of questions in our YouTube comments, and maybe it happens on Twitch, but especially I see it on YouTube. We get a lot of questions about what gear we use, the headsets that we use, the cameras that we use, which is cool. I like the fact that people care about not just the context of the show, but how we put it all together, because it is a lot of work, and sometimes that kind of just goes by the wayside because nobody really talks about it. But yeah,
I mean, even our setup up here, I tried to make this as slim as possible, and make it really easy because we have no tech operator. This is just me sitting here with a Stream Deck, you know, that I've got set up here in front of me. And so basically we have a computer that's operating what you see when I cut to it, you know, our here and there. But that computer's also running the software for our little TV studio, Blackmagic. It's running the Stream Deck and the companion software for that Stream Deck that makes it communicate with the Blackmagic. And then we have a little audio mixer board that is inputting into the Blackmagic and muxing the signals together. Actually, I use the camera to mux the signals together.
Really?
I don't run it through the board into the Blackmagic ATTN to make sure that everything stays in sync. I run all the audio through the Blackmagic camera, and then from the camera's HDMI output back into the board, and then I lock the HDMI audio input as our official audio input layer to make sure that everything stays synced.
Guys, half the time he does shit and I don't know what he's doing.
Whee!
I have to watch and be like, okay, cool. If I need to do this on my own, how do I do it? How do I do it? Where's this cable going? I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we try to set it up where it's as easy for people to just come in, turn it on, and go.
Yeah, which
and
it
go.
is. It is. It is pretty damn easy.
Should we talk about comic books?
I mean, I guess we should. That's what the show is, right?
I guess. I mean, we're here to talk. We're here to hang out, drink some coffee. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Where's the most interesting place you've ever read a comic book?
Oh, interesting place?
Is this something only I think about?
No, that's a good question because I've always thought about like where are interesting places that people do certain things. Mm-hmm. Don't be gross. When I went to Europe, I read a comic in Prague on the Charles Bridge. That was cool.
Ooh, that is a good place. I knew you were going to say Prague. I knew what bridge.
Look,
I've been on that bridge.
Look.
And I would want to read a comic book right there.
I love that city.
It's like sitting in a magical kingdom.
Exactly.
You're like, wow.
I know. It's amazing.
I went to a couple castles there, and every time I get to like one of the top and look over the city, I was like, holy fuck, this city doesn't feel real.
I know. It's pretty crazy. And last year we got to go to Budapest and Budapest has a lot of similarities in terms of the structure. Like you have a castle at the top of a hill. You can take a funicular to get up to it. It's beautiful up there. It's a little bit more of kind of like it almost feels like a little tiny town at the top of a hill. They've got like some bars and restaurants, whereas the Prague Castle doesn't really. Like it's mostly like government buildings and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just such a beautiful view from up there. Damn, it's so nice. It's
a magical city.
Yeah.
One of the first things I noticed when I got there, and sometimes you go to places in Europe, same thing with Canada, where you go to a place that's really, really populated. And in America, when you go to a place that's really, really populated, you just expect it to be really dirty.
Right.
And I'll never forget, like, walking around the streets of Prague and be like, these are brick streets. These buildings are hundreds of years old. I don't see any trash. Why is this so clean?
Yep.
Why is this so clean?
It's amazing.
Why is it so freaking immaculate?
Yep.
And then the first time I ever went to New York, side note for people who've only seen New York in movies, it's dirtier than that.
Yeah.
It is so much dirtier than that. Anytime you see shots of New York and you don't see bags of trash just stacked up on the side of the road, it's not really New York. And I had no idea that's how it was until I visited there for the first time a couple years ago for work for Valiant Comic Books, actually, and walk out of my hotel and I look around and just like, there's fucking mountains of trash on the sidewalk.
I know. I've heard that
from people. They don't show this in movies.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I heard that from people, and I thought they were exaggerating, and then I saw pictures, and I was like, oh, this is not exact. Like, it's literally mounds of trash.
All over the
crazy.
place.
Yeah, I know. And that's the thing about, and it's not just Prague. There's a lot of European cities that are like that, but Prague in particular, you know, when you're going out in the middle of the night, you see so many street sweeping vehicles going around the city, you know, in the middle of the night, early in the morning. I remember I got up at like 6 a.m. one morning, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to take a walk to the bridge. And they're all over the place. Like, they're all over town just going in. There's people, like, they do an incredible job keeping that city clean, especially in the summer when the traffic is just like millions of people are going through there. It's crazy.
When did I go to Prague? It was Christmas.
Oh.
I was at Prague in Christmas, which was wild. It was there. Okay. Have I ever talked to you about the smell?
The Christmas markets?
Prague has a smell, and it's a smell that I can't find anywhere in the United States. It's a smell that my brain will now always associate with Prague, and if I ever smell it again, I will be walking those streets in my mind again because I can't find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
It's like the mix of the hot wine, cinnamon, baked bread, all of it mixed together in the air, and the whole city smells like it. The whole city has this thick air. Even though the air is really crisp and cold, it's so thick, the smell. Oh, man.
I'm thinking of it right now, and I just want to go home. The baked goods in the... you got to come over to my house, my mom's house during Christmas sometime.
Oh, man. So good, though. The smell. That's so good. The most interesting place I ever read a comic book, and it's not like... It wasn't the perfect combination at all. But I'll never forget it because... It was just one of those, you know, like you have moments in your life where you can tell when you're in that moment, this is a defining moment of my life.
Yeah.
And you remember it.
Yeah. You
remember every little detail about it. When I was working in Nicaragua doing art therapy for kids down there, this was back in 2008. So it's been 11 years now.
Yeah, wow.
I had a tablet back then, too. It definitely wouldn't have been a good one. God, 11 years ago. I don't remember which one it was. No, it wasn't. It was my laptop. I was still reading comic books digitally, but it was my laptop.
Yeah.
And at that time, no, it was 2009. It was not too long after Brand New Day had started, and then there was a storyline about Kurt Connors. It was a whole line, and I feel like that storyline may have been written by Mark Waid because it didn't feel like Slott's writing. Someone might have to check me on that. I wonder who wrote that storyline.
Fact check.
But I remember reading the book, and I remember reading so well the panels, the art. The art is the name of the artist who did the work for Doctor Strange in his last volume with Jason Aaron. It's like the really busy art with the really strong angles. He does my favorite Lizard. He does Lizard so well. But I remember reading that book because I was sleeping on a cot in the jungle in a kid's classroom, and I slept there for like a whole summer.
Yeah.
And I was by myself in this room. I didn't sleep in the orphanage with the kids. I slept in their classroom on a cot, and I had to be up like by 6 a.m. every morning to get out of there, pack up my stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll just never forget going to bed almost every single night reading that line of books.
Yeah.
It was so good, and it was just one of those things that because I was in a very unique place that was so unusual, it allowed me to like soak up that information even more and get super into whatever it was I was doing because my brain was just on overdrive of taking in every little thing around me, you know? Makes it really great.
Yeah. That's fun.
Whew. Brand New Day is terrible. You are correct. I did not argue that. I'm not going to argue on that one. I will agree with you. You read Infinity Gauntlet on a cruise ship. That sounds awesome.
That's cool.
Somebody had something in Twitch chat, too, about where they read From Hell at Whitechapel or something like that. Awesome. I would love to read the comic book The Woods by... my brain right now with names. Scott Snyder, who was writing Batman. He wrote a great horror comic book called The Woods. I want to go sit out in the woods where I'm from and read that book. And just like get into it.
Yo,
like,
we got to bring that. We got to bring those benches,
right? They're
that
gone.
we have.
I threw them away.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we threw them away.
Oh, all right, never mind.
It doesn't smell like piss up here anymore.
Well, I don't know if it did it?
Yeah.
Was it from the benches?
Yeah.
Kaiju, what'd you do?
It wasn't him.
I didn't know that.
Homeless people were sleeping on those. You didn't know that? I left that out. I picked those up in Santa Clarita.
I'm glad I sat on them and ate my dinner. You son of a bitch.
I picked those up Craigslist for free on Santa Clarita.
I thought you picked them up from like a restaurant or something.
They were in the back of the restaurant outside, and there was people's trash and sleeping bag on them.
Can we talk about the fucking comics now?
But I got rid of them.
Oh, God. This guy. Does your cast know that?
I mean, Lucas knows after driving up with him in his car, and he was like, they smelled so bad.
I hate you, Zach.
Look, I spritzed some, I played some Febreze.
Get to the comics.
Some Febreze on there. All right, so big week of comic books this week. A lot of stuff to read.
Yeah.
So many War of the Realms tie-ins.
Dude, I was like...
So many War of the Realms tie-ins.
I was a little, like, put off because I was like, great, I'm going to try to read one of these. And then I was going through and I'm like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm going to read something else.
Yeah. Lots of War of the Realms tie-ins.
Yeah.
I read quite a few of them, but we'll just start at the top. We'll talk about everything we read, and if we didn't read it, we'll just ask if you did in the chat room. So I'm going to go look at the picture-in-picture. Woo! Yeah, baby! All right, Action Comics number 1011. I was hoping you got a chance to read this one because I know you love your Superman. Did you get a chance?
I do. I was a little apprehensive about jumping into this because I don't know if this is the first issue of Leviathan, so I want to have context.
Oh.
So I think the next time this comic book comes up again, I'll hopefully be caught up so I have the context of what the story is. Because I know that this is like a big story arc that's supposed to be happening, so I don't want to go halfway in and then not know exactly what's going on. So I didn't read it on purpose.
Okay, all right. Do you think, do I need to pick up the trade for you to...
if there is one, yeah, but I don't...
That was number 11. There's probably a trade out by now of...
Yeah, because I don't know exactly where it's... If there is one, then yeah, I'm down to read it.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's another book that we'll talk about that, like, I read a trade that is not associated with the new issue that came out, but it was still fun to understand, like, that world and have some context.
And it's interesting. I know we talked about picking up Freedom Force, but we didn't. I didn't pick that one up, but I know a lot of people had been talking about that one, actually online. After you asked me, I started seeing people tweeting about it as one of their best picks for the week. I feel a little bad that I didn't pick it up.
Okay.
Okay, so Action Comics number 1011. It's on our list to read. If we read it, we will update you next week on what we thought. As Guardians of the Galaxy, number 9, also another one that I did not get a chance to read just yet. I imagine... looks like we've got some Angels, Malekith, and Jane Foster having a little bit of an all-out brawl there.
I can't look at the title As Guardians of the Galaxy and just think of Thor and the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Dude, As Guardians of the Galaxy has been a book for a while now.
Yeah.
So the fact that that made it into the movie, I really do wonder sometimes if Marvel like throws stuff down to the editors at Marvel and like test this out in the comics, see how people respond to it. We're thinking about throwing this in the movies. Test it out. See what people think. When we dropped it in the movie, it was like, wow, that's a deep cut because As Guardians of the Galaxy is not like something that a lot of comic book people are going to be like, yeah, totally. That's been a hot book for the last year. Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
But I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Didn't get a chance to check it out. I will, though. I'm reading all of the War of the Realms tie-ins because they are silly as shit. And I will tell you which ones I did read this week and which ones I thought were awesome.
God bless you, bruh.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting, though, when it comes to these tie-ins for War of the Realms. I'll say this now before I get too deep into other War of the Realms books from this week. This is a problem with the Marvel tie-ins. The main books that come out cover things faster than the individual books. So there's stuff happening in books that were tie-ins this week that have already happened in the main book.
Oh, interesting.
So, and it's like stuff that the ones doing it right, I think, are Agents of Atlas, the new Greg Pak book.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it's adding more breadth to it. Story-wise, the one that's doing it, I thought, a little weird was, let me see here. Oh, my God, there's so many. There's so many books to get through.
The one thing about Comixology...
was Strike Force, The Land of Giants. This was the Captain America book tie-in. That already happened in number 3, War of the Realms, to the point that I knew exactly how it was going to end. Because they showed the ending for this book and that one, and that came out like a week or two ago. So it was really strange to me to pick this up, start reading it. That being said, it was one of my favorite books I read this week. But story-wise, I knew everything that was going to happen. And I don't like it when the tie-ins aren't... I like it when they're broadening out together really tightly. When it's something came out 2 weeks ago, and then it's like, here's what happened 10 minutes before that. And it ends exactly what you saw in the book. It's
That's not as fulfilling.
It's not as fulfilling. I know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's its own spoiler. Let's see here. But I've got Assassin Nation number 3. I have not started reading this yet.
Okay.
But this is one of those I'm going to pick up. If I like the issue, I will go back and start at the beginning, which I told you last week I like to do. And I read a couple books last week we'll get to later that I did exactly that. I read it and went, oh, shit, I think I'm into this.
Damn.
And have gone back to the beginning. And
I think I'm going to spend like either my Saturday or Sunday. It's because a holiday weekend coming up. I think I'm going to spend like a good 4 or 5 hours like trying to read something. Like a
holiday
series.
Weekend? What does that mean for us?
Nothing.
Like, wait, what changes?
I don't know.
What changes on this holiday weekend?
Oh, my God.
I'm still streaming on Monday here at Hyper. People will still be here working, and we're doing a 12-hour stream on Saturday. For those that might be tuning in on YouTube or Facebook that are unaware, Saturday from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. over on Twitch, we will be streaming Field Day. It's our Memorial Day stream. We're going to be doing all sorts of fun games. Yep. I'm going to be doing an Are You Afraid of the Dark RPG at the end of the day. It's going to be really fun.
Emily's doing Detective Pikachu, I think?
Detective Pikachu, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So what I was going to say is the only thing that it means that Emily has Monday off, which means we can go do something during the day.
Oh, so gotcha.
That's
that
all.
Is a holiday, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I'll spend some time reading something.
Cool.
Yeah.
Pick up some stuff.
Yeah.
Black Badge number 1. I'm going to read this description. Volume 1. I'm going to read the description because it's Matt Kent, and it's the same team that did Grass Kings, and I think Grass Kings is friggin' awesome. Meet the Black Badges, a top-secret branch of Boy Scouts tasked by the government to take on covert missions that no adult ever could. Among their organization, the Black Badges are the elite, the best of the best. The missions they're tasked with are dangerous, will only get worse as their leader's attention is split between the objective and tracking down a lost team member, a member who disappeared years ago, presumed dead. We might have to read this one at the end of the day.
I wish that I would have read the description, because just going by the cover, I was like, oh, it's a volume. I don't know if I'm going to make time to read the volume. And now I'm like, the description, I'm in love with it.
Right?
Give me that book, please.
Okay. All right.
Put that book in my veins.
All right. Cool. Well, let's check it out, because Matt Kent, that team, Matt Kent, Tyler Jenkins, is a great team, and they do really great work.
I'm intrigued. I love taking things like something like Boy Scouts and turning it on its head and being like, they're secret agents. I'm like, really? Please tell me more. Intrigue me more, please.
Yeah. Black Magic, the Book of Shadows. This is a Greg Rucka book, and it's good.
Is it?
Yeah, this is the first Book of Shadows. 311 pages. This is putting them all together. It's a big book.
It's a beef.
And I picked it up because I've picked up single issues of this in the past and really dug it, and I was kind of waiting for this big one to come out. And this dropped this week. And I highly recommend it. It's very mature. It's a very mature story. It is not fucking around. Lots of nudity, lots of weird shit, but not the most fucked up story I read this week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Before we started co-streaming to Facebook and YouTube, I know I told some of you a couple weeks ago about a book Azzarello is doing right now called Faithless, and I showed you a couple stills from that and how messed up that was. It went even crazier this week and got real nuts.
Okay.
And it's almost like he's being like, Comics Code? Fuck that thing ever existed. It goes real dark.
Oh,
and
interesting.
Very, very weird. But Black Magic, I think, is great. The main woman of the story, she's a witch, and she's also a detective. And
okay.
That's all you need to know. I'm not going to tell you more. It's really great.
I mean, what else do I need to know? A witch and a detective.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And it also has, like, a sense of humor about it. Like, it starts off with a bunch of naked women doing, like, a ritual in the woods, and her phone goes off. And she's like, sorry.
Oh, my God.
And she picks it up, and all the other women are really mad about having to start the ritual over again. And she's like, I have to go. It's for work. And
oh, my God.
It knows what it is in that fun kind of way. And
that's cool.
Imagines if it was now. It's great.
That's fun. I like that.
Great.
That's fun.
Bone Parish #9. This is one of those I picked up knowing nothing about. Nothing. And I like the description tells me nothing. The walls continue to close in on the Winters family as they are assaulted by foes on all sides.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it, but I like the cover.
Yeah. Interesting.
So I can't tell you shit. But it does look like you can borrow the first issues.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Issue #1 you can read for free if you have Comixology Unlimited.
There you go. Boom.
You can check it out, which I will have to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with scrolling through. And if anything, it sort of motivates me or encourages. It's encouraging me to keep up, because then I see an issue 9, I'm like, damn it, I want to read this because I like the cover, but I want the context. I don't want to just jump into a #9 and then not really know. It's different when it's like a superhero that I'm familiar with. If it's like the Flash or Batman or whatever, I'm a little more willing, unless it's like some big arc, I'm a little more willing to just kind of jump in. But something like Bone Parish, where I literally have no clue what the hell it's about, I want to start at 1, catch up to, go from 1 to 8, and then read 9 and understand, like, okay, cool, I'm aware of what's happening in the story. I'm not just kind of jumping in.
And I know I've mentioned this before on the show, but I feel like I need to do it again. We are not sponsored by Comixology.
No.
But we'll take it. But this is partly why I love Comixology. If I'm in a comic book store, I do love supporting my local comic book stores.
Sure.
I do when I can. But Comixology is great. It's giving me so many advantages. So it's like that. Like, oh, I'm going to pick up this #9. The cover's cool. Oh, look at that. I can read the first couple issues for free.
Yeah.
And just... boom.
Yeah,
get through
and if you like it, you can just kind of continue reading.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. We've got Quinn Credible Volume 1. Another one of those that I picked up just because the cover looked really cool, and it's a Volume 1, which is a great place to start reading a book.
Yeah.
Invulnerability is a pretty useless superpower if you've only got a 100-pound frame to back it up. I'm into it. That's what Quentin West's life became when he went from a small guy who got beat up to a small guy who can't get hurt after the meteor shower dubbed The Event gifted him the power of invulnerability, but no other powers to complement it.
Interesting.
But there's more to Quinn than meets the eye, and after some encouragement from his new mentor, a local New Orleans-based superhero named Glow, Quinn realizes that he can use his quirky hobby of creating Rube Goldberg devices to outsmart the opposition. But being a hero paints a target on your back, and Quinn's got to risk it all to join the ranks of the superheroes he looks up to. It's a good thing he can take a punch. Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
It's a volume 1. I will read this and let you know next week what I think about it.
I think I'll read it too because I definitely like the cover. I had to kind of pick which volume of what I wanted to read, so I went with something else. But I really did like the cover, and the premise seems pretty cool. So I'd be down to check that out too. And yeah, we can talk about it maybe next week.
Yeah. Shadow Uzumaki in the Twitch says, yo, Quincredible seems awesome.
Nice, yeah.
Definitely want to check it out.
Agreed.
Faithless number 2. This is the Azzarello book I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I cannot click read and show you pages of this because it will get our Twitch stream banned.
Good Lord.
It's that graphic.
Excuse me for a moment.
There's double penetration in this episode, or issue. It goes there. It goes there. It is a fucked up book. Azzarello has been known in the past. 100 Bullets is one of my favorite comic books. And he's been known in the past to do things sometimes that you wonder, are you just doing this to shock me? But then he usually has really good story structure that ends up rounding it out. This book, I'm curious where it's going. He's building a world that's really interesting, and it feels like the way they ended this one, like the devil's going to show up the next episode, the next issue.
Yeah.
But oh boy, is there some
stuff.
I do have to say though, it is kind of gratifying.
Yeah.
There's I thought you pulled it up.
I was
going to show you. I was going to show you something. Here, I'll pull it up on here and I'll show you.
I mean, I could.
Your little virgin eyes. Let's see here.
What?
Okay, so I'm going to show you this this sequence that is definitely like something that is fucked up as it is. You're kind of like, this is great.
Yeah.
So here, just flip from here to the next page.
Okay.
The girls are walking home after leaving a bar, and a group of guys on the street, a bunch of bros, start harassing them, and basically sexually assaulting them. And one of the women then starts telling them to do things to each other. So these group of 3 guys end up, based on what she's telling them to do, start it's a gratifying moment for the women who are being assaulted by the men to make the men, we'll just say, fuck each other and like it. It's a really messed up book. If you're into that kind of thing, check it out.
I mean, I feel like now that I've seen that, I need to just read it. Give me issue 1. I'm going to hop over to issue 2 after that.
Oh, boy. Lucas, stop playing music downstairs. You're messing with... Lucas, stop it.
Lucas, how dare you?
You have to stop doing this. They've done this in other shows before. They're all using my Spotify account, and they'll just they'll tell the Alexa to play music, and I'm like, no, you're using my account, and we're using it on stream. You take it from me when you do that. Stop it.
How dare.
Stop it. Okay. Next up, one that you get to talk about. And talk about it.
Yeah, so this is the second chapter of Year 1, Flash. So where it ended off, the Flash goes into the future and he meets older Barry Allen. And this new issue kind of deals with the aftermath of that. And because this is a Year 1, we're not necessarily retelling the origin story exactly the way it's been in other books. But I really dug this. It's really both Barrys discussing and discovering, kind of where they are at in each other's lives. And it's fun. I like the way it does it. The artwork is really, really cool. We're introduced to a villain called the Turtle, and there's a lot of hints towards,
of course,
the
Flash
future that they live
called
in.
The Turtle.
Of course,
I love it.
Yeah,
that's like straight up Spider-Man villain right there.
Yeah, totally. And I'm not familiar. I don't know if that's a new villain. but I've never heard of Turtle before.
They'll tell you on the internet. Tell us.
The internet will tell us.
Google it and act like you knew all along.
Exactly. But it's cool to see Barry Allen, young Barry Allen, go into the future and sort of see how we're in this like newly occupied central city. It's got this huge like force field around it, and Flash can't figure out how to shut it down, and other heroes can't come in. They've tried to defeat Turtle,
the Turtle.
and they can't defeat Turtle. So it's a fun story, and at the same time, young Barry from our present is trying to figure out how to use his power because he accidentally stumbles into the future, and Barry realizes like, look, if we don't get you back to your time without you interacting too much with our time, you know, it talks about also time loops and how those work, and older Barry tells young Barry, like, you know, you're just getting started. You're going to experience things like the multiverse, the Speed Force, and all your powers and all this sort of stuff. And I won't tell you the resolution, but they do something differently with Flash at the end of this issue, and I'm curious if in the next issue they pay that off, or if they don't. It's hard to talk about without telling you exactly what happens, but it plays with the idea of secret identities, which I think could be cool in the DC world.
As a DC fan, do you consider Barry Allen your Flash? Is Barry Allen your Flash?
I think so. That's the Flash that I really grew up on in terms of like the older television stuff. Obviously, Justice League has Wally West. I really like that character. But I think for the majority of my life, it's always been Barry Allen mostly. So I feel like that's the character that has sort of become my Flash throughout the years. And now he's in the movies, he's in the TV shows. But I think growing up, yeah, Barry Allen was really my Flash. But I love the fact that DC has the legacy aspect to it. I like the fact that we have, you know, Bart Allen and Wally West and all these other Flash characters. And I like it. Rebirth did it too, where they played around with the idea of all these different Flashes. I like the fact that, you know, it's obviously too early for this, but there's an interaction between all these different Flash characters, and they all are their own character, and they all have different things that they contribute to the DC universe. That's fun for me. I like that a lot.
So, of course, both Twitch and YouTube chat immediately jumped on, letting us know that the Turtle is an old Golden Age villain. Been around for a long time.
Okay. I don't think it's a villain that's been in the show, as far as I know.
Somebody said they thought he was in season 3 or 4 of The Flash.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There you go.
But I think the more important thing about this story, it's more about, could this set up something for later? Sure, of course it could. But I think the more important thing is the interaction that the Barrys have and how they sort of play out the ending and what that could lead to. That could be really, really interesting. So it was good. I liked it. I'm really liking it. I'm curious to see kind of where it goes and what they do with this and how long this run is going to last. But I like Flash. He's one of my favorite DC characters. And I listen to this, or I read this with the Flash TV soundtrack.
Oh, nice.
And it goes so incredibly well.
And Joshua Williamson's writing this, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love his work on Birthright. And what was it, Nailbiter? I think he did Nailbiter, too.
Okay.
Ooh, Nailbiter was good. Real good.
Yeah, but it's great, and I think the artwork is really good, and it's a fun read. It's a very fast, fun read, but it's a fun way to sort of reestablish the Flash in this year 1 universe.
Okay. Cool. Moving on here, we've got Ghost Tree number 2. I talked about number 1 a couple weeks ago, and I like number 2 even more. And it's a really interesting book, and it deals a lot with Japan and what family is like there and what family means. Basically, there's a Japanese American who's lived in America his whole life, but he used to visit his grandparents in Japan. And at one point when he was a kid, he told his grandpa told him, at this many years from now, come back and visit me under this tree. And here, let me go back to, we're going to go browse pages, and I'll get to the beginning here. And the first issue deals with him doing that. And then you find out he can see ghosts under this tree. And then he starts to reconnect with his lineage and his past. And he has a sense of purpose. And you find out that he's got problems at home going on with his wife back in America. And he doesn't want to leave now. And then you find out that he starts communicating with the ghost of his old girlfriend from when he was 15 years old.
Whoa.
And that kind of complicates things with his currently rough marriage, but she is connected to everything that's going on in the ghost world and thinks that something bad is going on. But there's really great stuff in here. There's great writing about letting go and coming to terms with your life. You know, I think the conversation he has with the samurai at the beginning is really powerful, because the samurai's talking about this person that turned his back on him and his best friend murdered him and all this stuff, but he had done so many things in his life that he should be proud of. And so he's kind of like becoming... You remember the show The Ghost Whisperer?
Ghost Whisperer.
With, I think, Jennifer Love Hewitt?
Oh, yeah. I never watched it, but I know of it, yeah.
It's like that.
Interesting.
It's like that. That's one of those deep cut shows, and I'm like, I don't even remember why I watched a whole season of that. But I did.
Really?
Yeah, I did. It must have been like one time when I was sick, and I had a DVD, and I went, okay, let's watch it.
First of all, wait. Why did you have a DVD?
That was an old show, man. That was back then.
Dang.
I'm old. Dang. That was a long time ago. I could have probably been like 10 or 12 years ago and be like, oh, here's a DVD box set. Let's watch it. But yes,
okay.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good. I think
I like the artwork.
I like the second issue better than the first.
Uh-huh.
I think it's stronger. I think that there is a lot more interesting things in it. There was some story stuff that made the continuity feel weird in the first issue, but I think the second issue clears some of that up. I would highly recommend it. It's inventive. It's unique. It's a great indie book.
It really utilizes those earthy tones and kind of like limiting itself to a certain color palette, which is cool. I like that. It's pretty nice.
Right on. I love my indie books, though. I'll talk about my indie books all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we do have two chats going. I can see the Twitch chat and I can see the YouTube chat. We have both of them pulled up here.
I'm too blind to read stuff
no.
that far.
We talked about this last week.
Yeah, I can see it, but I mean, I'd have to really lean in.
Oh boy, we got to get you some new glasses.
I do, yeah. I got to do that thing.
We could both. All right, The Goon, number 2. The Goon was relaunched. The Goon is a great book. It's a classic. It's been around for a really long time.
Yeah.
Eric Powell writes on this one. It's a fun book. I would recommend The Goon to people who are like, I want to get into indie books.
Yeah.
What's a fun non-superhero indie book? The Goon's great.
Yeah, I definitely want to go back and read the first issue and then read this second one because wasn't The Goon at one point being made into a movie?
Estajor says, I seriously can't believe the movie is finally happening. So maybe it is.
Okay. Because I know it was not on Kickstarter. It was somewhere. It was being posted somewhere. But yeah, it seemed really cool. It had a really cool visual style. So it's great to know that it's only 2 issues. So going back and reading the first one, reading this is like, boom, you're done. You're caught up really quick. Yeah, it looks really cool. It's a cool cover.
Yeah, Uberbaldi's saying it started in 2009. I could have swore it seemed older. It honestly seemed older to me, too.
Yeah.
Seems like it's been around.
Forever.
As long as I've been going to comic book stores, it feels like I've seen the Goon on the stands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. 2005 is what RJ connected. That makes more sense to me.
Gotcha.
Because that means as long as I have been going to comic book stores, it's been on stands. I don't think I went into my first comic book store until at least 2007 or 8.
Wow.
Yeah. They weren't around where I lived.
Good Lord. I'm spoiled.
I had to wait till I moved.
I had one literally 5 minutes from my house. I used to go in there all the time.
I picked up this book in honor of Rat Queens tonight.
Okay.
Because it's called Highwayman.
Gotcha. I'm picking up what you're putting down now.
Yeah, that was literally the only reason I picked it up. It's a full volume, 164 pages. I am going to read it. I'll report back to you next week.
Nice.
But I will say I clicked on buy just because Rat Queens is tonight. I was like, oh, Highwayman. Buy.
Done.
That says nothing to do with Rat Queens.
Yeah. That's what I was like, really?
Now you remember that wonderful NPC, the Highwayman that showed up in the first episode of Rat Queens. Speaking of Rat Queens, comes up tonight if you all are a fan of comic books. On Twitch after this show ends, Rat Queens tonight, and they travel back in time. They are going back to the first issue of the Rat Queen comic book to try to fix their mistakes.
We're fully embracing time travel here.
I was about to say, I wonder if that has... never mind. Spoilers, right? We're not allowed to... Okay. It's gonna be great.
Say nothing.
Yep. Phyrexian Juggernaut, the hockey movie? No. Goon like this is not... I know what movie you're talking about. Great movie. Great movie.
Come on.
You've seen The Goon, right? The hockey movie?
Come on.
It's a good movie.
There's 3 of them.
There's 3 now?
I think they made 3, yeah.
I've only seen the first one.
I think they made 3.
Is the second and third one any good?
I have not watched them. I think the third one just came out.
The first one is so...
Pretty sure it's Goon that had the sequels.
So good.
I could be wrong.
I know I've seen 2.
Yeah. I think the third one just came out. There's at least 2, Uberbaldi says. I'm pretty sure there's a third one. And I think it just came out within the last 2 years.
Straight to video, for sure.
Yeah. Or am I thinking of something else? I don't know.
The first one was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the second one because I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah. I thought there was 3. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm thinking of like Slapshot or something stupid.
Shy Chowder, he says, "Yo, how close are we to getting an Invincible review on Hyper? Cheers." What do you mean?
Go to patreon.com/hyperrpg and you can find out.
Yeah.
We have it set. I think I can't remember exactly what the goal is, but I think we're like 60 to 70% to the goal.
And that's not a review. That's like a reread.
No,
right?
we are literally.
Yeah.
It's going to be a podcast, and we're going to go issue by issue every single week and read the entire run of Invincible. And the hope is that we'll finish it around the time that the animated series starts on Amazon. So if you guys want to go to Patreon, you guys can help make that happen. It's on there, right? In color, clear.
All right. We also have here Invisible Kingdom number 3, written by G. Willow Wilson and art by Christian Ward. Christian Ward is someone whose art I friggin' love and have purchased of in person before. I think he's an LA native. And picked up some of his stuff at galleries. I love his art.
Nice.
I have Invisible Kingdom number 1 and 2 as well, and I'm waiting to just sit down and read all of them at once.
Nice.
So I'll be catching up on those soon. But moving right on, you can talk about these.
Yeah, so John Carpenter's Tale of Science Fiction. So this is an anthology series, and we didn't really know that. Zach ended up pulling the next one, Vault, to the collected edition. So I kind of read this one. This is issue 4 of 5, so issue 5 is not out. And so I kind of jumped into the middle of this. I read this while listening to the soundtrack for Assault on Precinct 13, and it actually went pretty damn well. I don't have a whole lot of context about what's happening here, other than that the comic book presents the fact that this officer becomes possessed. And these 2 women, one of them is his wife, they're trying to get the hell out of the city, it seems like, because there are multiple people possessed in the city. It's pretty fun. I think I liked this a lot more than the actual first volume that I read. This had a really fun sort of like action horror zombie feel to it. It was good. It was good. I definitely want to go back and read the first 4 issues or first 3 issues so I have the context of what the hell is happening. But then I did read Vault.
The Vault Collection.
The Vault Collection, yeah, which I don't know exactly how many issues it was. I want to say maybe like 4 or 5. It felt a lot like Alien.
Okay.
It's these explorers from NASA. They have to board a ship because, it's a secret mission that no one knew about except for one person, and they got to go and they start extracting this like goo, which they find out is like potentially leads to some sort of disease and or possession of some kind. So it definitely has like an alien vibe to it. I wasn't as crazy about it because it felt, especially I just rewatched Alien, 2 weeks ago. So it felt just too similar to Alien for me to care enough about it.
Got it.
And I wasn't really into the characters that much. The art was really cool, and the design of the monsters that end up being, in that volume are interestingly designed. So it's okay. I wasn't crazy about it, and it's not John Carpenter writing them. It's kind of
presents.
It's just John Carpenter presents. It's him and his wife. I guess they've started some sort of.
Is like their publishing company?
I
Storm
think
King?
so.
I've never heard of Storm King.
Yeah, I think it's like their own independent publishing company that's putting out this anthology series of books. So yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. I really liked the other one, the Twitch one, a lot more. And I think there's 3 or 4 other anthologies that are out that you can pick up on Comixology. So I wasn't a fan of this one, but I liked Twitch, so I definitely want to go back and reread that to sort of get the whole context. That to me felt a lot more Carpenter. He's obviously not a stranger to sci-fi, but this felt so removed. Like this felt like it should have been like a Ridley James Cameron sort of thing, where it's like a lot more sci-fi. Whereas Carpenter, to me, I always think about like
a little more horror,
a little more grounded, and that's what Twitch felt like to me. And I really dug that. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Cool.
I dug it.
All right. Well, we just had a request in the chat, and
Sure.
I'm a sucker for requests.
Okay.
So Eliza Louisa wants us to wish happy birthday to Nick Gers.
Nick Gers. Happy birthday, Nick.
All of them have.
Birthday.
Everyone has one. You're not special. No, I'm just kidding.
What else
happy
is there
birthday.
to say?
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Birthdays are like buttholes. Everybody's got one.
Kaiju, where are you?
Especially Kaiju. Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Have a good day.
I don't have any coffee, but
I got a little bit left. I'm like trying to savor it. I'm sipping on
smells
it.
good.
I'm sipping on it.
I know, this is my 3rd cup, and I'm like, do I want a 4th? Probably not.
I went to Vegetable today and had 2 cups while reading comic books.
Shut your butt. You went to Veggie Table. You didn't bring me a sweet potato barbecue sandwich. So good.
You'd have to ask Malika. I'm broke. I've been broker than broke since February. I can't buy anyone anything.
Hey man, I feel you.
I have to. I'm like, wifey, take me out for lunch. I want some lunch, wifey.
Please feed me.
Yeah. Okay, Martian Manhunter number 5. Did you read this one?
I did read this one.
Because people online were saying it was great.
So I'm sure it's great if you've read the first 4 issues, but jumping into it, this artwork is crazy, by the way. I'm not sure who we have to pull up to see who the artist is, but it is some crazy artwork. It's unlike anything I've seen in recent DC books. It's very unique. It's very different, and I think because I'm not going into it with the context of the 4 other issues, I'm a little kind of like, what the hell is happening here? But it's interesting. It's got great art. It's interesting to sort of see, like, great, is this another Martian alien character? Like, what are these other who are these other characters that were enslaved and or kind of shunned out of Mars? But yeah, I think that's what I'm missing. I'm missing sort of the backstory to this, and it's one of those things that, like, you go into issue 5. And I'm reading and I'm going, great, I don't really understand what is happening. John Jones is having these, like, projections or these, like, mental...
I freaking love the art.
Yeah, the art's incredible.
Riley Rossmo.
Yeah, the art is amazing. It's like
so much fun.
Yeah, it's a very different take on what I'm used to seeing from a lot of DC books. So the artwork is great. And what John Jones is going through, sort of these, like, projections that this character is having him go through is very, very interesting. But again, I think it's because of not having the full context. I'm like, great, but I don't understand what's happening, which is different from Flash because I'm on issue 2 of 2, so it's easy to follow. But the artwork's great. So if you're following it, I'm sure you're understanding the full context of what's happening. So it's an easier read for you. But
I'm going to pick this up. Honestly,
it's cool.
The art's enough for me to start it.
Exactly.
Like, wherever this artist came on from the book, I'm gonna start out.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to, and this is only issue 5, so it's very easy to go back and read the first 4 and to have the full grasp of what's happening. So that's what I want to do. I want to go back and read it. There's some cool stuff happening with some of the characters. I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah, I'm into it.
I need more context.
I'm into it.
Yeah. So I dug it from the art perspective, but the story I couldn't appreciate enough because I haven't done the research. But the potentiality is there.
Okay, the potentiality.
Potentiality.
Okay, so they're saying the artist has been drawing since issue number 1. So I'm going to start Martian Manhunter from number 1. And this is honestly one of the things I like it when any of the big books puts some more faith into creators and allows them to have a little bit more fun and break off from the typical styles. Marvel, I feel like, does it more often than DC. DC has a more look that they usually go for.
Right. They kind of have their, like, I don't know, their, like, bases kind of, like, baked in.
They've gotten a little bit better, especially with some of their books geared towards women, like the Batgirl book and things like that. I feel like they allow those to go a little bit more, and Birds of Prey, a little bit more towards a really expressionistic kind of standpoint and are more interesting. A lot of their big books have looked the same for a very long time, and I dig this. I dig this a lot.
It's good art style. I like it.
All right, let's see here. Matador, Volume 1. I don't know anything about it, but it's a Volume 1, so I picked it up, and I will read it, and I will get back to you.
It looks cool, just based on the cover alone.
It's on the cover.
You know, it looks cool.
I will say I started reading Middle West, and I will be finishing it immediately after the show because I was freaking digging it.
Oh, really? Okay,
Scotty Young's book. I knew about this. I had picked up, I think, issue 2 and really liked it, and just kind of forgot. And then I saw Volume 1 came out today, and I immediately picked that up.
Okay.
Actually, it might not have been Volume 1. Maybe it was a different Middle West that came out. Either way, holy crap.
Yeah, because this is Volume 1. You might maybe read, like, an issue of it?
I know I've read an issue before.
Okay.
But I needed to go back and start from the beginning because I was really lost when I just read a random issue.
Yeah.
I'm digging it. It's really good. Scotty Young's killing it on the art and the story. Actually, I don't know if Scotty's doing the art too. Let's check.
Yeah, because again, it's like
because Scotty Young does do amazing art.
I feel guilty for saying this because they always say, like, don't judge a book by its cover, but, like, if the cover sucks me in, I'm kind of in.
Oh, with comic books, I think you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's part of it.
If you're gonna get someone like Alex Ross to paint a cover for you, then, like, all right, I'm in.
Okay, so Jorge
Corona
did all the art, which is great.
Cool.
I mean, Scotty Young's a great artist.
Yeah.
But I freaking love this book.
Ooh,
it is.
That's nice.
Really good.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I'm about that.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like setting up a kid with an abusive father.
Wow.
And It's
What
good.
soundtrack would you pair to this?
Ooh.
I feel like that needs to be a thing.
Ooh.
We play music during this entire damn show.
What soundtrack would I play with this? Boy, that is actually a really tough question. Give me just a sec here.
Okay.
God.
With Martian Manhunter, I played... What did I play with the Martian Manhunter one? I did... I think I did E.T. But I feel like that's a little too, like, on the nose.
Okay, so you and I have different ways that we do music.
Yeah.
For sure. You love soundtracks.
Yes.
Movie soundtracks. I'm a big, like, musician kind of fan. I think I would listen to Two Gallants while listening to this because there's a certain, like, feeling to this book that has, like, the dirty South in it a little bit. It's got a little bit of dirty South to it. I know it's like kind of Midwest, but I feel the dirty South in it, especially with this relationship. Mm-hmm. So I would go for Two Gallants, one of their earlier albums, which is like 12-minute long songs that are just about being in abusive relationships and drinking too much beer. I feel like that's what I would go for with this.
That's interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm not a big. I love soundtracks.
Yeah.
I'm not a big soundtrack person.
Sure. I mean, not everybody is.
I'm gonna go for like musicians usually. And that being said, I do find myself listening a lot to Johnny Greenwood.
Okay.
A lot. Yeah.
I mean, like Murder Falcon, which is the book that I'll never stop talking about because it's so good. I couldn't listen to it. I don't know if I would be able to listen to a score. It'd have to be music. You know, like music that we listened to when we read it originally, because it just fits it better. So I don't think scores are appropriate for every comic book.
True. Very true. I know there was somebody in the chat asking a little bit about coffee, and if there were any coffee nerds in here. I am definitely a coffee nerd. I have an entire little station upstairs that has my my coffee pot that's temperature controlled, or my water boiler that's temperature controlled, a slow pour over, and I have my own beans up there that do not make it downstairs, because then the cast around here will drink it, and I hide it from them. So I have my own setup upstairs on top of our mini we also have a fridge upstairs where we hide food that we don't want cast taking. Look,
that's fine, because then the cast eats all my goddamn food.
You got to get yourself a mini fridge.
Apparently.
I learned this at the last place.
Yup.
We get a mini fridge for the important things because people will take your shit.
Mm-hmm. Sure do. Lucas? No, not Lucas. Lucas is the one person who doesn't.
But I'm a big fan of Honduras blend. I like a medium to dark bean. I like a little bit of sour fruit kind of taste in there. I don't like it to be too bitter. I like a nice kind of clean... not as far to say like tea. I still like it. I drink it black, no cream, black coffee all the way. But I
just drink whatever shit's over there at the station.
Black and bitter Keurig, right?
That's right. That's right. I have no appreciation. No, that's not true. Not that I don't have an appreciation for coffee. I'm not educated enough in coffee to understand. Actually, the one thing that I do prefer outside of the Keurig, I really like it when it's French press. My mom kills it with the coffee. She knows coffee way better than I do. So when I come home, just a nice, good old French press, some good coffee, with a little breakfast.
I'm not a huge fan of French press, but I know there are people that really love it.
Yeah.
And it's a little too gritty for my taste.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm not a big fan of the grittiness.
What about Turkish?
Malika loves Turkish coffee.
Yeah, my grandma. She's all about that. And I'm like, that's a really interesting way to drink coffee.
I'm not a fan. I like a nice, clean pour over.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, moving back to the books.
This show just goes all over the place.
Who
I love
cares?
It.
Miles Morales, Spider-Man #6. This was a really fun book. I really dug it. We introduce a new character, and this new character is the granddaughter of Adrian Toomes.
Okay.
Granddaughter of the Vulture.
Okay.
And I love it because even Miles was like, that old white guy's your grandpa? And she's like, my family's complicated. I was like, that's great. What I liked about it is it kind of followed that age-old Spider-Man tradition of this girl kind of became his black cat in this book. And you saw that guy being set up. Like, she has her own way of doing things, her own moral code. She has a family history that's a lot different than his. And, you know, she's like very clearly like, this is who I am. And he's like, I'm Spider-Man. I'm not going to tell you who I am. And they're flirting with each other. It's really fun. It's really good. I think this run of Miles Morales has been one of my favorites.
Really?
It's really good. It's really well written. I feel like it's got such a clear understanding of Miles' voice. You feel like that's Miles' voice.
Yeah.
It's great.
We watched Spider-Verse again over the weekend.
Yeah, you did.
And it's like, man, give me some. I'm going to go read the first 6 issues of this and just probably fall in love with it.
You will.
Yeah.
You will. I think it's the closest to that version that we've had. Even like I said, even though Bendis brought Miles to life and did a lot for Miles to get Miles where Miles is.
Set it up.
Yeah, I do feel like Miles needed a different voice.
Cool.
A new voice and different voice, and I feel like this one is, if you like the movie, that's the one.
I mean, I think that's how you keep the characters interesting, right? You're not going to have Bendis write Miles Morales forever. 1, can't.
Yeah.
2, you want someone else to come in who has taken the groundwork that was set up by Bendis and like, great, what's the next phase or what's the next evolutionary step for this character?
Next on the list, we've got The War of the Realms, Moon Girl, and Devil Dinosaur. I didn't read it yet, but I will.
I mean, the name alone. My God.
I love Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, honestly, so I'll check it out. I'll let you know what I think. Let's see. Road of Bones, number 1.
Was this in here?
It is.
Oh, it was in here.
Road of Bones, number 1
I
is one that I checked out, and honestly, I dig it.
Okay.
And it's dark. It takes place in a Russian encampment in the 50s, so it's a prison.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's like the things they have to do, and like the prison, it sets up the different angles of the prison system there. But then there's like one mysterious kind of fantasy element where there's like a Russian folklore witch that lives under one of the buildings.
Baba Yaga.
This cook is like sneaking food for her, and he gets beaten for it, and he gets like his prison sentence expanded and all this other stuff. And you don't know whether or not this is real or just his imagination, filling it in from stories he heard as a kid. But it's really dark. It's really, really fucked up. It's really fucked up.
How do you feel about comics that are based on historical events? Do you like it when it's, faithful to what happened, or do you like a sort of like fantasy, sci-fi, horror take on it?
I like a take.
Okay.
I have never been a big fan of As It Was.
Sure.
Or things in the past in general. I've been a much more like fan of sci-fi, left of center, where we are now, where we are in the future. Never been a fan of stuff in the past too much. 50s isn't too far back. I don't get into stuff like Game of Thrones, though. I don't really give a shit about the Middle Ages or, whatever European folklore shit. Never liked it. Never been a part of my, this is just not something I grew up with, so it's not something I get really into. I say that I was forced to read the Tolkien books when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about Lord of the Rings.
I liked it, but not enough to I would be like, oh, this is cool, and then I'd be like, Alien, let's watch Alien. Star Wars, let's do Star Wars. Spider-Man, let's do Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, those were things I connected with.
Okay.
I liked it, but I didn't really get super into it. Yeah. So a lot of the history stuff, like the King Arthur stuff,
would you be open to it if it was stuff that you don't know about? Because I feel like King Arthur, for example, is something that I feel like it's been done over and over and over
Agreed,
and over.
Because sometimes I'm super into samurai stories,
right?
Because it's different.
Yeah.
It's not something I grew up with and was constantly bombarded with.
Yeah.
So if it's like a Kurosawa movie and it's Rashomon, I'm fucking into it.
Yeah.
Let's do it,
Yeah. I only asked because when we went to Prague, we went, we walked around the castle and all this sort of stuff, and we started reading the history of everything. And you could go one of two ways with it. You can go the very traditional sort of I don't know, obviously not Game of Thrones because that's a big fantasy, but something that's very traditional, that's very sort of grounded and has no fantastical element to it. Or you go to the Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, sort of heightened reality, more fantasy. And I would like to see more stuff like that, only because it's Czech history and a lot of other European country history. People, I think, have a sort of misunderstanding of what happened, but it'd be fun to explore that, but do a little bit of a twist on it and not just do an adaptation of this one thing.
Right.
Do a fantastical sort of spin on it as
I
a
do
graphic
like
novel.
the spin. I do like the spin. I prefer when people take, their own spin on it and recreate it. What I don't like, I think I was just talking to Malika about this the other day, and especially when it comes to fantasy history. And why I think I don't super get into Game of Thrones stuff. It feels very, what's the right word? I have to be really careful how I talk about this. Growing up in a place that was surrounded by nothing but white people, literally with no cultural expression outside of just it was a county that was 100% white. There wasn't even a person of color that had moved into town. And when I was growing up there, it was just 100% white. And there was a lot of racism and a lot of bigotry. You start recognizing certain things that they gravitate towards because it empowers them. and there's like a white power fantasy element to these things, and because I grew up around it, I'm super sensitive to it.
Gotcha.
And recognize it very quickly, and things that feed into that, and a lot of the medieval King Arthur type stuff, like it kind of feeds into that a little bit, because it's like the conquistador. It's just, it has this feeling of like we're gonna burn down everyone who wasn't a part of what made us great. The Westerners that kind of took over everything. Every culture has some fucked up things in their history, but I'm a little sensitive to it just from growing up around it so much. So I don't feel like I could ever really connect to that, because when I was growing up, those were things that were kind of associated with this level of, like, it led down this path of bigotry and stuff like that. So
I get that.
Yeah, I'm a little sensitive to it. Like, I get a bit like, ooh, I can see where people like take this and they're just like, here's their white power fantasy of reimagining history where they're always the good guys, and that they're the ones that have the invading forces coming towards them, but they're out, it's like, yo, the English did some shit. Yo. And we like to, a lot of that European kind of Tolkien-esque stuff is usually a reimagining of that history and those stories, which is very much centered on, like, that conquest.
Yeah, I get that.
But it makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If I hadn't grown up that way, I probably wouldn't think of it like that. But it's just because I was kind of exposed to it that way.
Right.
So I get a little bit more into sci-fi and where we could be going, instead of reimagining the past where we're always the hero, and reimagining the past where it's like, look how great it's like, this is our fantasy, this is our stories. And I feel like oftentimes it completely, like, especially some of these American history stories, like, just tries to completely, like, oh, let's not talk about slavery back then, or let's not talk about how this was, and let's not talk about what we did here, or what we did to the Native Americans. We're just going to leave that out, and cowboys, or this or that. So when it's reimagined and it's got a new spin on it, like, I'm loving East of West, which we'll get to, and East of West is like a totally different spin on all of that, and it's freaking amazing. And you could call it fantasy, but it's sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's sci-fi. But, what's up?
What's happening right now? Hi.
So, getting back into the books, we're still going through all the books. There were so many books this week, y'all.
Well, that was so I was going to mention this earlier. I was going through Comixology, and I literally, like, got to a point where I was like, I can't remember if this is from last week or from this week, because there's so much. I thought I reached a point where I was like, okay, cool, I must be in the previous week. No, I was not. I'm a ding dong. I mean, there's some stuff that looks familiar now, but good Lord, that's a lot. Jesus.
Kingsport Cal says, so do you cross the street when you see a black guy? JK. No, but the people I grew up around would, and they'd call the cops.
Yeah.
And that's why I get nervous around people that I can see how they take things like even Game of Thrones and be like, this is our story. We'll let that one black guy in the show, he's cool, but this is our story. You know, this is the way we conquered the world. To get off on that shit.
Yeah.
Shuri, number 8. Malika started reading Shuri Volume 1 and was really into it. I have not caught up on it. We might have to have Malika come back on next week when she's got some time and kind of update us on what she's been reading.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I was on, I don't know, one of these days I was on Twitter. I'm on there every day. But somebody was like, I didn't like Shuri in the Black Panther movie. She was a whack character. I'm like, are you crazy? She was so good. So I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to read this. It's 8 issues. I want to go back and I want to read the first 7 and then read this because the character was so great in the movie, and I've only heard nothing but good things about her in the comics as well.
Yeah, and Shuri in the comics has a vast history.
Yeah.
The movie kind of brought a new light into Shuri and set her up as a more like cute younger sister.
Yeah.
In the books, like she's been the queen, she's been
been
Black Panther.
Yeah.
She's been through some shit, and she was hardcore in the books too. And the movie kind of reframed her a little bit. Not in a bad way.
Sure.
But
I think it's like planting the seeds for the future evolution of that character.
Yeah. So check it out. Brian Wood has a book out called Sword Daughter, Volume 2. I picked it up just because I love Brian Wood, and the cover looked dope.
It's a really cool
cover. I will
yeah.
check it out and see what I think, and I'll get back to you on that. Tony Stark, Iron Man, number 11, God Killer. The cover is dope. And it makes you think that something way cooler is going to happen in the book.
No.
But it's still a really good issue.
Okay.
I am so glad that Slott is writing Iron Man. I feel like his Peter Parker was always secretly wanting to be Tony Stark.
Sure.
I never liked him writing Peter Parker. And it was so funny because there was a time where Bendis was writing Tony Stark and Slott was writing Peter Parker.
And you felt like
and if you put those two books together, because, Bendis wrote Spider-Man for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this Tony Stark over here feels very Peter Parker. And this Peter Parker feels very fucking Tony Stark.
Flop this, please.
And finally, Slott came over and is now doing Iron Man. And I feel like his voice works really well there. And I think he's good at writing Tony Stark. And there's some really fun stuff going on in there. Just like I liked Slott's Fantastic Four run. I liked his Silver Surfer run. His Silver Surfer is amazing.
Yeah.
I just never liked his Spider-Man. But this Tony Stark Iron Man run is really good. It's really interesting. It deals a lot with, stuff that you have to do when you come onto an Iron Man book and past the year 2000. There's VR. There's, an alternate world, like a second life kind of thing going on.
Okay.
And he's built out his organization very much like he did with Peter Parker to have all these people working for him. So he's got a really great cast of characters in the book. But it's fun. It's really well written. It's great. And Tony's got some things he has to come to terms with that I think are really powerful.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Give that a read through.
War of the Realms Venom. Good.
Yeah.
Colin Bunn writing this. I don't like him as much as Donny Cates and that run, but this was a good issue. There were some great moments in it. He's not in his symbiote suit in this. He's in a suit that a witch gave him.
What?
It's weird.
What
but
the fuck?
It's a good issue. There's some good moments in it because it's Eddie Brock. The suit feeds off anger.
Yeah.
And it feeds off his rage. So when he starts to worry about his son, he starts to lose his power. And he has to focus on his rage. And it was a great issue because it was Venom, Eddie Brock dealing with, he's like, all this time I thought that the suit was corrupting me.
Yeah.
But I was corrupting the suit. And my rage and my anger and my jealousy and all those things is very clearly what made the suit what it is.
Yeah.
But he had to use it in this. And he's like, finally, there's a moment in my life where I can use all those things to make me stronger. And the way it was written, it's really great. And it's really fun. It's still a silly, Jack-o'-lantern gets powered up too. So now Jack-o'-lantern's riding. He's a dude with a pumpkin head who's on fire, and he's riding a dragon through the streets of New York and blowing everything on fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
All about it.
But it's a good book. Yeah. I highly recommend it. It's
because you normally are not the biggest fan of Eddie Brock, right?
Nope.
Yeah. So it's nice to see something doing something different with the character.
Yeah. Oh, I feel you. If you're a small town in Tennessee, Kingsport, Cal, I feel you. Been there, live that.
Yeah.
I love it there. People got a long way to go. War of the Realms, Strike Force, The Land of Giants. This might be my favorite superhero book of the week because Spider-Man is so good in it. He's so good. I'm going to pull up a page to show you all that I love it when Spider-Man is written well with good supporting characters. So they kind of use Spider-Man as the voice, even though there's a lot of characters in this book. And he's written really well.
I want to be this winter Captain America.
I mean, already it's like, here's Spider-Man riding on a horse with Captain America, and it's so good because Captain America's like, I'll meet you back down there, and Spider-Man's like, wait, before you go. And then the next page is him being like, woo!
This is kind of great because they do this in Endgame, too.
I know.
When he's with Valkyrie. That's fun.
And it's very Peter Parker when Peter Parker's at his best.
That's great.
But there's a great scene here where they're all picking out their Asgardian weapons.
Yeah.
And Logan picks out one for Peter and puts it on, and he doesn't question it, and he just keeps going. And then there's a moment where all the giants are getting scared of all the weapons they have, and they're all talking about all this stuff that's going on.
Shut your book,
and he's like, what does the helmet do? What do you mean? Everyone else is using their special things. You said this was magic. How would I know if it was magic? What? Then why did you tell me to wear it? It was the most ridiculous helmet I saw in there. I mean, it has a little shade cover for your neck, and we're on a dark ice planet.
Oh, my God. I preferred when you were dead.
I am here. I am for Logan and Peter Parker interacting.
So
I freaking
good.
love it. But then the funniest part about all that is he eventually finds out his helmet is magical, and it allows him to talk to the horses.
Oh, what?
So then there's just a whole bunch of scenes where I'll show you the I'll show you the result of it.
That's amazing.
I love this they don't know that his helmet allows him to talk to the horse. So there's just a great panel. I love little moments like this. I think it's great. This is when I love Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
That's so good. That's great. Oh, that's so good.
So yeah, honestly, this is probably my superhero pick of the week. It's a great cast of characters. You've got Iron Fist, Logan, Luke Cage, Captain America, and then Thor shows up at the end.
Oh, sick. Cool.
So really, really fun.
That's awesome. That's fun. I like that.
Yeah, it was a fun issue. I recommend picking it up. I think, like I said, when somebody writes Peter Parker well, I'm so happy. They get it. It's great. I'm super into it. So
it's also cool. I mean, again, it's one of those things that, like, you know, if you are such a fan of all these characters cinematically or on television, it's so cool to be able to open that book and see Wolverine, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Spidey, and Cap in one book. And you're like, damn, this is the stuff that I can't get, that I can only get in a comic book.
And they're on an ice planet fighting frost giants to save Thor.
So cool.
Yeah, it's really good. And then half of the book is Peter Parker talking to a horse, and you find out that these horses are like these warriors that have their own like afterlife, and you know, and the other horse is telling Peter Parker like you have to honor their deaths and all this stuff, and it's great,
incredible.
It's really good.
Comic
books are great. I did not get a chance to check out War of the Realms: Journey into Mystery yet, but I did get a chance to read New Agents of Atlas #2. This is the one with the all Asian cast.
I should have read that one.
Good book. It's a good book. #2 I like even more than #1. You get to know the characters a little bit more. There's so many characters in the book, though.
Yeah.
There's so many. And I want more time with them. I want more sit-down time with them. They're getting thrown right into this event.
Yeah.
And I don't remember #1 saying #1 of 4, and this one said #2 of 4 on the cover.
I don't
remember #1 saying #1 of 4. So I really hope they keep this book going after #4, and it's just allowed to be its own thing. But right now, I don't get to know any of the characters. It really sucks.
Interesting.
It really sucks.
I know. I'm like curious because I don't remember that either, and I feel like that would have been something that I would have definitely picked up on. Of like, it's a limited run.
1 of 4.
Yeah,
right there. Nope, it just says issue 1. It doesn't
1.
say 1 of 4. So. Interesting. Hopefully after 4 they just let it spin off into its own book, because I want more time with these characters. I want more time with these characters interacting.
Yeah, just as chapter 1.
Yep. Yep. It didn't say 1 of 4. So
how dare you?
Interesting development there. War of the Realms of Punisher also did not get a chance to read yet, or Uncanny X-Men. I'll be reading them though, and I will let you know. I did though read through Volume 9 of East to West, because that is my shit.
Yeah.
I love East of West so much. I freaking love this book. I can't believe that we're, I think, 1 volume away from the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been reading this book for years now.
Oh, okay. So it's a long burn.
It's been out for a little while. I mean, though, I have all of them, and you could get through them. They're all on there.
Oh,
every one of them.
Okay.
I love East of West. I think East of West is one of the best books on the stands. It's such an epic thing.
Give me the 2 to 3 sentence pitch of what it is. Is that possible? Or is that
kind of?
Okay.
The apocalypse is coming.
Okay.
We're in an alternate version of our now.
Okay.
Where the Civil War split the nation into multiple countries.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of this.
And the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse walk the earth. One has a child that will be the bringer of the apocalypse.
Okay.
And he is death.
Okay.
And he's trying to save his kid, and the other 3 horsemen are trying to bring it all down. But it's a lot with politics.
Sure.
I love the alternate kind of now, with the alternate history. Like the Savage Nation, which is the Native Americans, they're the most technologically prowess. They're like have these floating giant mega tech cities and stuff.
Nice.
And then you've got the New Republic of Texas, and you've got the New Orleans is its own like country.
Really?
And they've got their king and their princes.
Okay.
California was taken over by Asia, and it's like the House of Mao. There's some cool fucking shit in here.
Interested in this. Okay.
Lots of really neat stuff. Huge epic story.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think
cool.
it's great. I hope it gets made into a movie one day.
Nice.
It's so cool.
How long has it been running? You know?
I don't know. Chat, tell me. I've just been reading it since it came out, so if you want to tell me, chat, when did East of West first come out? I'm guessing like 2014 or 2015.
Okay, so it's fairly new then.
Yeah, I mean, 9 volumes.
Yeah.
He's been on schedule pretty well with these.
Okay.
But it's good. It's really good, man.
Yeah, that sounds like I like stuff, again, talking about taking sort of like interesting premises and just kind of turning them on their head. I like that. I like when it's like it's set in our world, but it's doing different things and it's splitting things up differently, and that's fun. I like that.
First came out March of 2013.
Oh, okay.
March of 2013.
Okay.
So it's been running for a while, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I have not read Avengers number 19 yet, but I do want to get really quickly to the books I told everyone I would read last week that I have not talked about yet. I finished Farmhand.
Did you?
Good.
I loved we read the first issue, didn't we?
We did.
I loved it.
And Farmhand is really, really good.
Sweet. Yeah, I want to read that. I want to finish that because I really, really dug that first issue. It was such an interesting world and premise and idea, and like the art was great, and it was just, I was really into it. So cool. That's good. That's good to know. I want to finish it.
Oh, man. I'm super into it now, and I'm going to keep reading it.
Cool.
I'm going to keep reading Farmhand. I'm going to catch up. I'm really into it. It gave me a lot to think about.
Nice.
Like so many things to think about.
Okay.
Other stuff that I checked out from last week, I haven't got caught up on Quantum Age yet. Port of Earth I checked out and actually really dug it.
Really?
So now I'm going to go back to number 1.
Okay.
Dude, cool premise.
Really?
So basically aliens set up a port on Earth.
Yeah.
But it's in collaboration with humans, but humans are not allowed in this port, and aliens aren't allowed out of the port. So there's a port on the planet.
Oh, okay.
And this issue picked up with like disease spreading out from the port because human beings and these aliens, they can't interact with each other because human beings have frail immune systems, and some disease gets out, and then you find out there's all this other political shit going on where these aliens that were being slave traded are trying to tell a group of humans, like, you don't know anything else about these people who set up this port. And it's just basically like the aliens running this port are like the mob in a way.
Wow.
And it's like, why are you just trusting them? You don't know what they've done on other planets. You don't know what they've done. It was really cool. I actually really liked it. The art was really cool. It was a neat book. I enjoyed it. That was one of the ones I read through and was like, okay, all right, I'm going to go back, start at number 1, and
it's cool
check
premise.
them all out.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I was really digging it.
See, like, that's the big difference is, like, I feel like the stuff that, like, I read without context, you're kind of thrown into it and it doesn't really make too much sense. You're not really given a good enough idea of what the overall story is. Whereas with this, it sounds like, great, you jumped into issue 10. We give you enough context so you're interested in following more of what the story was.
Yeah, I dug it. Gonna go back, start it again.
Cool.
The other thing I checked out was Junk. I said I would read Junk.
Oh, yeah.
I stopped reading halfway through because I wasn't digging it.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't digging the art, wasn't digging the story premise.
Yeah.
Other people might like it, but it just wasn't for me. It didn't connect with me. I could tell that this was a book that has a very clear singular vision with the art as well, but the art I didn't think was up to snuff, and it didn't click with me.
Interesting.
Let's see, what else did I catch up on
Did you
last
read
week?
AOC the comic book?
I didn't. I didn't. Oh, God, I still have so many things to catch up. We had such a busy week. I did finish reading Amazing Spider-Man number 21.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that came out last week that just based on the cover, we were like, oh, this looks interesting. This looks interesting, too.
This week, though, many
so much stuff.
Things dropped that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
And this isn't everything that came out.
No. This is just what I wanted
to. It's impossible.
This is what I wanted to read.
Yeah, you turned to me, you're like, anything that's interesting to you? And I was like, oh, this John Carpenter thing seems pretty interesting. So I read that. But yeah, there's so much stuff, out every single week. It's crazy to try to keep up with it.
It's true. So we only actually have like 15 minutes.
Oh, snap.
Because we talked, there were, again, a lot of books that came out.
Yeah, we mouthed off a long time.
So we're going to read the first little bit of Black Badge.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I enjoy doing on the show. I want to try to convert a lot of you guys who may be watching, guys and gals, who maybe don't know that much about comic books, and show you how much cool shit is out there. We've read Murder Falcon. We read Farmhand, and both of those were amazing books that aren't superhero comics. There's so much more to comic books than just superheroes. And honestly, it's a lot of this indie creative stuff that gets me really hyped and gets me excited to be reading comic books. So we are going to check out... let's do it. We're going to check out Black Badge. We will read for about 15 minutes, and we will kick it over.
Cool.
We're going to kick it over to Rat Queen's downstairs. I love this. Tony P says, I didn't realize that Zach was a fan of comics. Boy, where you been?
What?
Where you been?
What? This dude reads for like 5 hours a day.
Not that much.
When
2
you
to
can't
3.
sleep.
Yeah, when I can't sleep. Yeah, of course. If I'm having a rough day and I can't sleep.
Yeah.
Whoo! I'm going to read. I mean, like I said, I love watching movies with you all, but still, at the end of the day, comic books are my number one form of consuming. I will just sit there and read.
It's I've been, for the last 3 weeks that we've done this, I'm realizing how quickly you can read these.
Oh yeah, you knock through them pretty fast.
Yeah.
All right, Black Badge, Matt Kent, Tyler Jenkins, and Hillary Jenkins, Volume 1. Ooh, already digging the art, the graphic design. Oh, this is gonna be awesome.
Okay. We're going to have to recreate these when we go to the next location.
I know. Oh, I'm so digging this
That's
already.
Cool. I like this, yeah.
Chapter 1. I love this. This is all blacked out. Emotional stability, initiation, North Korea, extraction, trespassers will be killed, evasion and escape, frying pan. Okay. What the
Enemy
fuck
lines?
is this book?
Okay.
Seoul, South Korea. Wait, okay, so we're gonna go close. So what are you guys even doing on this tour? You're not with our school. What are you?
Our troop couldn't afford the tour on our own, so we had to pair up with you guys.
So you're scouts? What's your big mission? Scouting? Ways to be virgins all your lives?
Dang, that's some shade.
Because if you are, you're on the right track. What I mean to say is, nice pants. Let me see if I can remember your names. Kinney. You sure you brought everything you need? Your teddy bear in there? Seriously, look at all that crap in your backpack. Is that a frying pan? Cliff, cool guy, huh? Great walking stick. Your mom must be proud. Mitts, seriously, what are you even wearing? Did your marching band leave you behind or something? Willy. Dude, you need to lay off the scout snacks. Thank God they make husky-sized pants. Oh, gosh. What an interesting way to set up characters.
I'm going to punch this ball bag in the face already.
Here you go.
We have a few hours. Stay in this general vicinity, and we'll meet back at the gift shop at sunset. Kenny, if you all are taking the canoe instead of the paddle boats, don't head off too far.
Yes, sir, Mr. Evans. What badge are you guys earning? The how to never fit in badge? Yeah.
Say that again, punk. Ignore him. Just paddle.
Somebody in the chat says, Lucas in this comic book?
Lucas is in every comic book.
Hope we're getting your gone missing in South Korea badge, losers.
Fucking bastards. Seriously, I'm going to beat that kid's ass with my ass-beating stick.
Don't give him the satisfaction. He's just looking for a reaction.
Some things never change.
Man, we are super far away from the group. You sure this is right?
I love this artwork, by the way.
Yeah, it's super great.
Trust us, new kid.
I have a name. We're going to do that from here on out together.
Cut out the chatter, you two.
Fisherman at 12 o'clock. Kenny, you got it?
Relax. I'll get us there.
And that is South Korean?
Yeah. Sorry, sir. I don't understand. Is it me?
Yeah.
I think we got lost heading back home. Willie, relax, will you? We should have been heading west.
We got to do that together. Come on.
Sorry.
Giggle, giggle. Giggle, giggle.
We're north, guys. North. The current took us north. You sure? Yup.
Now what?
Now we set up camp.
Ooh.
Perimeter set.
I'm missing some arrows, Kenny. Did you get into my stuff? You guys screwing with me?
We're well within range. We made good time. Nice work, team.
I am digging this, like setting up Boy Scouts as secret.
Because you know they're going to like push a button and the floor is going to open up and they're going to go into their thing.
This is just Boy Scouts as secret agents for the U.S. government.
Scouting, bro. When are we supposed to radio in? Tomorrow, if all goes well. Is anyone
looking at the map? Oh, gosh, man. This is sick art. I dig this.
Really cool.
I dig it. I like the looseness.
Yeah.
I don't think we should cut through that fence a few miles back. That didn't seem right. I triangulated our position. I got the Golden Sextant badge like 10 times, and I hate to break this to you, but we are well into North Korea, like miles into enemy territory. We could be killed here. This isn't a joke. I'm not super great at the politics of this stuff, but isn't North Korea like the enemy?
We could be killed. Some of us have. Earning the black badge isn't easy, Willie. We shouldn't have a fire. We're so visible right now, you guys.
Whatever we're doing here, we need to be more careful. Way more careful.
You're right, Willie. Let's call it a day. We have a long walk tomorrow.
Sorry about today, guys. I'm just trying to fit in, figure it all out. I tell you guys why I'm here. How I got recruited? I was finishing up my final merit badge, and by final I mean the very last badge available. I'm the only scout in history to earn every merit badge there is. Seriously, I have them all. Even the Theories of Mind Management badge, which literally no one has ever earned or heard of, let alone earned. Anyway, I was on the last one, scuba diving. Not that obscure, but I'm afraid of drowning. Not a fan of swimming, so I put it off until last. The final challenge was to swim in this abandoned quarry down into an underwater tunnel. I don't remember that badge. You have to take off your mask and free dive to the final 2 minutes through the tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, there's supposed to be a hole that leads to a cave with breathable air. I thought I was going to die. Were the Scoutmasters trying to kill me? Was this a trick? Was I supposed to be smarter? Was I supposed to challenge their orders? I just did it. I put my faith in the leaders that there would be an air at the end. I had to trust them. Heading into that dark tunnel, trust was all I had left. Trust they had my best interests in mind. Afterwards, I was a new man, full of confidence. I'd done it, proved my mettle. I had every merit badge in existence. Or so I thought.
You did good, kid. Real good. So good someone wants to see you.
Oh. That's when my dad introduced me to the leader of Black Badge.
Will, me Master Gottschalk.
Well, you've impressed us, and usually we don't really recruit young men like this. But your father was rather insistent. Told me you had what it takes. Told me you wouldn't back down. You see, you have every merit badge but one. They told me there was one final badge to earn. One that no one even knows about. Your father told me you know how to keep your mouth shut. They told me there was a secret badge. The Black Badge. So here I am. And that's what this is. They send us here on purpose. They send us because we're kids. Because the perfect cover. That's smart, right? I mean, we're kids. We get lost all the time. We can't be tried as adults. We blend in. Who pays attention to a bunch of sightseeing kids? But we're breaking like 10 different laws, and not all countries take it easy on kids. What if we're caught? Have any of the Black Badges been caught before? What do they do to you? So when do you actually get the Black Badge?
Give it a rest on the badges, will ya?
That sign kind of looks threatening. Does anyone know Korean? I love how these older kids are just like, this is normal. It says, trespassers will be killed. So, okay, do we do one mission here, then done, or,
Quiet. This is it. Everybody down. Give me a minute, okay?
Oh, snap.
Cliff, you're up. Mark the building second from the left. See the steam coming off of it? Means the others are empty shells. Our target must be in that one. I'll mark it with the laser. Then we'll radio in coordinates. Willie, your turn.
Got it.
40 degrees north, 127 east.
40 degrees north, 127 east.
Now, we just wait. Probably going to send his helicopter in or something.
So, what are we doing?
They built a field of identical decoy buildings. Just need to figure out which one has someone living in it. Supposedly some nuclear scientists we want to capture.
So, we just wait?
Yeah, we're done. You hear that? We should go. Damn! Hot damn. Time to go.
I thought this was a rescue. We're all gonna die. This is nuts. We're all gonna die, man.
Really? Hold up. Stop running.
Did you know they were gonna do that?
No, they don't tell me everything. They tell us just enough. We have to trust that they know what they're doing.
You trust them?
We have to.
Damn, Willie.
Damn, Willie. Damn.
Break it to you this way, Willie. Okay. Was it always just the three of you? No. Who is your fourth? Did something happen to him? So I'm the replacement, the one you guys hate until I prove myself for some crap like that, right? Maybe. You ever read Lord of the Rings? Yeah, 3 times. This is totally like that. Not that you mention it, a fellowship. I like it.
My God.
Yeah, except you are the ring, Willie. You're the burden. The thing we're carrying around and trying to get rid of.
This is like just going across the mountains.
Oh no, we're so dead.
Just stay cool. Stay cool. We're just a bunch of idiot tourist kids that got lost. What are you doing here?
So in comic books, when you see those,
yeah,
yep, translated.
Yep. We just got lost. We were looking for a place to camp out. We're not from around here. We got this new kid. Gets lost all the time. He wandered through a hole in the fence. Just a handful of kids. No, they look scared as hell. Dumb students. Oldest can't be more than 15 years old.
This is the most unbelievable part of this book. North Korea would capture them. There's no way it would just be like that. We've seen this play out before. People have been kept
take them
in camps, and we work for years to get them out.
Get them out of there and patch up the damn fence, will ya? The captain's going to have our ass if he finds out. Yes, sir. He'd literally just get the hell out of here. Okay.
Is that it? Did I get the black badge? We're done, right?
That badge wasn't the badge, Willie. Or that wasn't the badge, Willie. That was just the initiation. You don't ever get a black badge. You become one.
Oh! Hey! Hey, where did you guys go? Looks like you got into some action.
This a-hole.
Whatever. Now what?
We just wait here until the extraction bus arrives.
Was there a guy in that building that blew up? That we blew up?
I don't know. Probably.
So we kind of killed that guy.
No, we just called in the location. We didn't do that. They didn't even tell us what was going to happen. They told us it was an extraction. Right, Kenny?
Oh, Kenny keeping a secret. Ooh. We're supposed to be learning. They're supposed to be training us, teaching us to be good, to be responsible. But this, does anybody think it's messed up?
Listen. All we need to know is that we're doing good. If that place needed blowing up, it was for a reason. Nobody can do what we can do. No one can go where we can go. This world needs fixing, and it sure as heck ain't the adults who are going to fix it. This bus is here. The bus is here. Let's go.
Willie, comms expert, equipped with the latest satellite and digital hacking equipment. Pants, husky-sized. Cliff, security specialist and hand-to-hand combat expert. Walking stick, equipped with an array of tripwire devices. His mom is proud of him. Mitz, expert bowman and master of disguise. Belt satchel contains special arrowheads, ideal for any situation. Hates marching bands. Kenny, group leader. Scarf transforms into garrote, and backpack contains nearly everything, including frying pan.
Hell yeah.
That was it.
That was
Issue
perfect timing.
1 of... Oh, man. Okay.
This is good.
I'm into it.
I
Black
like this.
badge. Black
I
badge.
like this a lot. This is fun.
All right, everybody. We are going offline. It is time for Rat Queens.
Woo!
If you like comic books and you're watching us on one of the other platforms, please do head over to twitch.tv/hyperrpg and get ready for Rat Queens. This episode tonight is going to be a doozy. They go back to issue 1 of Rat Queens in the comic books. It's all tied together. You should check out. It's a great time to jump in and be a part of the story. So, yeah, say goodbye.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys watching. This is a lot of fun. I love doing this. This is so fun. Can't wait to do it next week. Maybe again, possibly.
Yeah. We're here every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Thanks so much. Make sure and tweet at us at hyper_RPG on Twitter. What books you picked up this week and what you're excited to check out.
And what books we should check out.
Yep. All right.
Bye.
Bye.